Welcome to episode 47 of Discovering Nagasaki from a Local. My name is Chad. In my ongoing weekly vlogs, you can experience everyday life in this scenic and fascinating part of Japan. This week, Daniel Hazen, Denise Rollheiser, and Kathy Garrett were the first three people to correctly answer both of last week's vlog questions. Thank you for answering my challenging questions. The first question from last week was, how many rows of seedlings did the Mitsubishi rice planting machine plant in one pass? The answer is 4 rows. The second question from last week was, how many telecommunication towers can you find at the summit of Mount Inasa? The answer is 3 telecommunication towers. During the past week, I took 8 photos of plants growing near our home in Omura. Here is a silk tree, Nemonoki, a bay leaf tree, Laurier no ki, a pomegranate tree, Zakura no ki, a sunflower, Himawari, a passion fruit flower, Passion fruits no hana, a St. John's wort, Otogoriso, 2 persimmons, Kaki, and a dahlia flower, Daria no hana. In today's vlog, I will show you how to cook a seafood dish that was introduced to Japan more than 4 centuries ago by Chinese expats living in Nagasaki, sara udon. I will also give you a short tour of a castle in the northeastern section of Nagasaki Prefecture, Hirado Castle. Let's get started. Nagasaki is known for 3 types of food: champon, which I showed in episode 5, castella, a Portuguese sponge cake, and today's dish, sara udon. Sara udon literally means plate udon in Japanese. To make 2 servings of sara udon, I will use sara udon noodles, or fried chow mein noodles. I should mention that typical udon is about as thick as this chopstick. Instead of using the 2 seasoning packages that came along with this product in Japan, I will make it from scratch. In this dish, I will use 100 grams of kamaboko, fish cake, 150 grams of pork slices, butaniku, 150 grams of squid, ika, and 8 large prawns, ebi. I will also use the following vegetables: 1 carrot, shimeji mushrooms, an onion, 2 bell peppers, cabbage, bean sprouts, and kikuragi mushrooms. For seasonings, I will use a tablespoon of soy sauce, a tablespoon of vegetable oil, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 pinches of salt, a tablespoon of potato starch, 2 pinches of black pepper, and 6 grams of flying fish agodashi. A common garnish for sara udon is kagome Worcestershire sauce. I will start by cutting up 5 of the vegetables in this dish: the carrots, the bell peppers, the shimeji mushrooms, the onion, and the cabbage. I will cut bite-sized slices for this. To avoid contamination, I will cut the meat after the vegetables. I put the sliced vegetables in these 2 large plates. Now I will cut up the meat into thin slices on the cutting board. I'll start with a prawn. Some squid, some pork, and then some kamaboko. Now that all the meat and vegetables are cut up, I will fry the pork on a fry pan with a tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'll just slide the pork onto the fry pan and fry it until the pork starts to brown. Now that the pork is completely cooked, I will add the rest of the fish slices to the fry pan. These fish slices will only take 3 or 4 minutes in the fry pan before they're ready. The meat is now fully cooked and I've turned off the heat. It's time to make the sara udon sauce. I'll start by adding 1 3/4 cups of water, 6 grams of agodashi, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 pinches of black pepper, and 2 pinches of salt. After boiling the sauce for about a minute, I'll add it to the fried meat in the other fried pan. On top of this, I'll add the cabbage, onions, and carrot slices and simmer the mixture for 5 minutes. When the carrots are soft enough to poke with a fork, I will add the remaining vegetable slices, the bean sprouts, bell peppers, kikurage, and shimeji mushrooms. They only need to be simmered for 2 minutes. I will now add 1 tablespoon of potato starch dissolved in 6 tablespoons of water. The starch will thicken up the sauce in the fry pan. After adding 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, which I neglected to videotape, and simmering for 1 more minute, I will transfer half of this seafood sauce on top of the udon noodles. Once you sprinkle on a little kagome sauce, it's ready to eat. Try to make this delicious dish yourself. As you can see, it's rather easy to make. I'm now at the top of the stairway leading to Hirado Castle's small keep. It was completely rebuilt in 1962. Here it is on my left. The original castle keep was, of course, much larger. In the main room on the 2nd floor is a video depiction of early Hirado, projected on the wall. And images of a 93 centimeter long samurai sword on display. Next to this room is a display of an antique Dutch ship artifact and antique Christian artifacts from Hirado's hidden Christians. Above are posters describing Hirado's early exposure to Firendo, or friends from Western countries like Holland and Portugal, many of them traders and missionaries. On the 3rd floor are displays of the original castle built by Shikinobu Matsuura in 1599. On my left is a scaled-down version of this castle on display. This castle was quite large and protected Hirado's harbor. Lord Matsuura subsequently burned this castle down 14 years later after the Battle of Sekigahara. Nearby is an antique samurai battle garment on display. This poster describes Matsuura's naval defense of Japan from the Mongols, and nearby is a model displaying the stones used to build this castle's outer walls. On the same floor are 2 antique castle ornaments and posters describing the early history of Hirado. After Hideyoshi Toyotomi's successful conquest of Kyushu, Hirado County was controlled by the Matsuura clan. 1550 was the first year that Portuguese ships came to Hirado. 1599 marks the completion of the original castle here, and 1613 is the year that it was burned down. 1704 was the year that Takashi Matsuura rebuilt this castle. That castle lasted until 1859, when it was completely demolished. The fourth floor is devoted to the many endeavors of the Matsuura samurai clan. On the left are interactive exhibits. Here you can answer challenging questions about Hirado using the digital wands available. On the fifth and top floor, there is a small room with mountain images painted on shoji window screens. And several shoto and yakimono artifacts on display. From the balcony around this room, you can get a 360-degree view of Hirado Harbor and the perimeter of this castle. The small island in Hirado Bay is Kurokushima. The buildings with red roofs are part of Hirado's cultural center, and across the inlet from this center is Hirado's former Dutch trading post. From here you can get a spectacular view of Hirado. It is home to more than 32,000 people. Obviously this balcony is quite narrow. Below you can see the surrounding forest and the ceramic tiles of this rebuilt castle keep. And here's the view of the stairway and courtyard that I showed you earlier. For many historic and aesthetic reasons, Hirado Castle is considered one of Japan's top 100 castles. In the background of this second harbor is Hirado Island's Red Bridge. Below is an outdoor sumo arena and two of Hirado Castle's 4 Yagura watchtowers. The view from this castle is well worth the 500 yen entrance fee. And now for this week's challenging questions. First, if you include the agodashi, how many types of seafood did I use in the sara udon dish I prepared? Second, when was the current version of Hirado Castle built? Be the first to correctly answer both of these questions in the comments section below. I will announce the first 3 people who do so at the beginning of episode 48. You can find a complete list of the contents of my vlog episodes on the Facebook link listed below, and you can watch all of my vlog episodes on my online YouTube playlist. Today's B-roll involved cooking, so in episode 48, my B-roll involved baking. Stay tuned for more interesting vlogs from and about Nagasaki. See you next week.